zoning committee, commission meeting, okay? Us as a group, okay? Then we would have to post an agenda for the budget committee saying that we're gonna go to the planning and zoning, okay? For the purpose of, say, getting training, open records training and open meetings training, okay? We'd have to post an agenda. By the same token, everybody else is connected with the city, they'd have to do the same thing if they want to go. Same thing if the council wants to go to a planning and zoning, if they got 3 or 4 people.
But they can go as individuals, not necessarily
But
as
if there's
council.
if there's 3 of them, because you're doing public business.
Yeah, it's
here.
it's a core.
You got a quorum,
3 from the council?
yeah. Or 3 from any committee.
But, doesn't make sense.
Well, that's
You
just
could
the-
go,
that's
I
just
mean,
the
you
law.
could just go as individuals though, not as council members.
No,
Yeah, I
you
mean-
can't do, you don't get to separate yourself as an individual and a council member, just no more than
You
you
don't
get.
get to separate yourself as a citizen
No,
from council.
no.
Okay, learn something new every day.
Well, that's where you get into the laws of this stuff. I'm not trying to be a smart aleck or nothing, but I'm just saying.
Were we waiting on somebody?
Nope, we're ready to go.
6 o'clock.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm-
all right. This is called
Recording
the
in
second
progress.
meeting. First of all, Mr. McFarland was supposed to be here. He has applied to be on the budget committee, Larry McFarland and stuff, so.
Can he still apply?
Yeah, he applied the other day, but they've got to wait till the council appoints him at their meeting, the 22nd, okay? So, first of all, if any public is invited to address the committee, the public is respectfully requested to limit comments to 5 minutes. The public should be identified, their names, address, or city address, and any subject. By the state law, the committee may not engage in discussion any matter not listed on the agenda. The city policy is that each person who desires to address the committee must speak on his or her own behalf and may not reserve or grant time to another person. So, it's open.
Eddie Oliver, 370 Clater Powell. Tonight you guys are gonna make some decisions. One of those is gonna be who's the leadership of the council. One of the first mandates that's in your bylaws, your charter, is that you're gonna work with the mayor on performing his budget. When you go to make this decision, I want you to take into consideration that Billy Sparks has been actively sabotaging the city. Right now, you can pass these down.
Yes.
He filed a complaint with the state about the way we were storing our records.
Well, how come you haven't brought this up at council meetings?
You're not supposed to,
Pardon me?
this is my time.
Oh, Robert's Law, that's what my name is.
Yeah, sorry. No, and this has been brought up. A lot of people aren't aware of this stuff, so I'm just bringing it up now, okay? Because I lived through it. I was 60 days in, and then that complaint was filed with the state, and I had to deal with it. And so now we're paying out, well, we'll have to be up at 30 grand, I think, ballpark about this year. Is that about right, Sarah?
17 plus 6 plus another 6.
Yeah.
Well, let me just cut you a little bit short here and say something. I'm not here to get anybody kicked out of office. I just know what I've seen from a budget that y'all have. It's not a budget because you're not keeping up with that budget. That's the biggest reason I'm here. But you go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, and this has, I'm honestly hoping that this could be a new start. I genuinely hope this. That's what I'm looking for. That's why I think it's going to be imperative that we pick the right leaders. This was just posted night before last on Gholson and Know by Melissa, and she said, "Oh, the mayor's not eligible." Billy,
You're not.
this is my 5 minutes.
Falsified documents. I'll show you in a little bit.
This
You're
is
under
my
investigation by the
this is
DA
my
right
5
now.
minutes. Anyway, right here, this shows, yes, I was not registered to vote, but you guys missed the curing window, so yes, I'm legal.
Falsified
So,
documents.
this is my 5 minutes.
Go ahead. I ain't saying nothing. All I'm saying is talk to myself. Talk. I'm talking to myself. Go ahead.
Who's in?
Hey,
Is this how this is
can
gonna
we
be?
do,
It's gonna be a
can we
shit
do
show?
something here? People that are talking, let them talk till they're through. I don't care who it is.
We're off to a rocky start. Anyway, so putting this out, this is misinformation, right? You can,
No, not really,
Yeah.
but it's okay.
is this how this is gonna be?
I didn't
Well,
say-
really, you're not supposed to have anything to do with this, right?
I'm public. I got
You're
5
pub-
minutes. I'm
Yes,
supposed to
you
have
go
5
down
minutes
there, you sit out
uninterrupted.
there, but you're not supposed to be involved in this, right? And any suggestions we make, the board's gonna make a decision of whether to use them or not.
Actually, the first bylaw that you guys have is to work with the mayor. That's literally the first part of your charter.
But you said you were here as a public
Yeah,
person.
yeah, I am, and I'm
You
trying to
can't
get,
do both.
this part I'm speaking as a member of the public.
Okay?
And I can already kind of see which direction that this is going. When I'm up there and I'm running as mayor, I let people speak uninterrupted. It's 5 minutes, right? And you can do your 5 minutes. I've been cut off 5, 6 times now. That's not how this is supposed to run.
Can I
I-
say something? Well, I would just.
Jesus.
I just needed to, because I was on the planning and zoning committee back before,
Are you stopping the clock?
you know, you ever,
It doesn't make any difference.
showed
You're gonna
up.
get to say what you're gonna say.
yeah, you can say, it, I don't care. But the thing about it is, the planning and zoning is a committee, just like this is a committee. We didn't have public comment or anything. We came in, we sat and discussed what we had on the agenda, we voted on it, decided what we wanted for the next agenda, we were done. Y'all put this, that we shouldn't have, because it's a committee.
Well, that was my mistake. I mean, I was
Yeah.
following,
We shouldn't
Trying
have
to
that,
follow
it's
along.
not, and
It's
the,
okay.
the other thing is, I mean, it's just, you know, it is what it is, it's a committee. Period.
Right, and
You need to
it's a committee that's supposed to work with the mayor, and that's why my
Well, they're,
whole, my
they're
whole.
supposed to be working
my
with the
whole-
whole council, not just the
Just-
mayor.
Uh-huh. Right, but hopefully you guys are gonna elect some leaders tonight, and I just want this stuff to be taken into consideration when you guys start appointing positions. If you guys are gonna work with the mayor and we're gonna develop a budget together, you guys are gonna have I mean, your second item of business is picking a template. I prefer we use the course of kind of model. So, I mean, there's gonna be things that we're gonna have to do back and forth.
So
I'd
you're not
rather-
taking anything
and-
into consideration that we're gonna suggest then?
He has to, we do. The council does.
Yeah, anyway, back to what I was saying. That is something that I would hope that you guys would take into consideration. If you guys are gonna work with the mayor, I'd rather not work with people that are actively sabotaging me.
Well, aren't you sabotaging things around here too? I mean, I read the Gholson gossip out here, and I hear stuff from you and I hear stuff from others. But in the position you're in, you really ought not to have that position. You ought to be the guy that holds this thing together, not the guy that pulls it apart. And right now, you're pulling it apart.
And again, when I
And
heard you,
Robert.
this was before I even really got in, they started filing complaints against me, so.
And Robert's rules says he has to be neutral too,
okay, can I say something now?
Sure.
I guess.
First of all, what we're working on is for 26, 27 budget year. Has nothing to do with you, one way or the other. You may or may not be on the council or on a mayor when this all comes to fruition, okay? So, your budget, that 25, 26 budget is water under the bridge. That's already been created, you do whatever you want to with it. What we were asked to do was to come up with a budget
For 2026.
for 26,
26,
27,
26.
okay? So,
Fiscal.
I think this is all, you're getting your feathers ruffled about something that doesn't even matter. And matter of fact, that complaint I did file, but I filed it with the city council, I didn't file it with the state.
And I was 60 days in, and those were your records you stored. You filed a complaint about records you stored when I was 60 days in, and I had to deal with. That's kind of sabotaging.
And stuff, okay. I put some stuff out, about Robert's Rules of Order and everything that wasn't in your packet, and about the committee's role, and stuff, and some stuff out that you can read and everything. Now, first item on the agenda is to discuss elections of officers. My opinion, since and whatever it's worth, and y'all can express y'all's whatever y'all wanna do. My opinion is we need to wait to elect officers until either Mr. Farland is placed on the tier, so everybody's got a fair shot at it, whatever, and stuff, and everybody, we leaving nobody out. Now, I realize the bylaws say that it has to be done in January, okay? Council meets on the 22nd, either they put him on or they don't. That's up to them. We have time to get an agenda posted just for that one thing, to elect officers in January. We will not violate the bylaws. We've got the 28th, 29th, 30th, 31st, 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th, and 30th to get that done. So
We don't have the 28th, 29th, 30th, and 31st, because I can't be here.
Okay.
My granddaughter's in a play.
Well, we can do it on the
and
20.
She would always take precedence.
Oh, okay. Well, we can do it on the 26th, 27th, you know, we can
No,
work.
I'm not here on Monday and Tuesdays, I'm not here. I won't be here that week, because I will be gone.
Well, you want to meet on the 22nd,
What is it, 22nd?
it's a Friday? I mean, it won't
I
take
mean,
long.
I'm just saying that y'all can
Okay.
meet without me, I
Well,
guess. I mean, but
well-
I can't be here.
So I said, you want to do it on the 22nd? We can go ahead and get the agenda out on the 18th and have it out plenty of time to do that.
Cause it'll be quick, all y'all gotta do is vote.
Yeah.
Vote.
That's all we got to do.
Then why can't we just, could we meet just after the council meeting?
No, well, you got to get, well, we could,
If that's all we
have
have
to get
to
an
do.
agenda posted, but, are we too late on that?
No, so you could meet the day after the council meeting,
Okay.
yeah. We would just have to
22nd.
post that agenda, or, do you have last year's calendar in front of you? Cause your days are one day off.
Yeah, the
I've got this year's calendar here.
The 23rd and stuff is,
Friday.
20
Friday.
No. Am I looking at something wrong? Because I got a 2026 calendar here. Let me look at my phone. Maybe I'm looking at,
Cause the 22nd's a Thursday, the 23rd is Friday.
yeah, 23rd is Friday.
Yeah, so
Okay.
the 22nd would be the council
Yeah,
meeting.
20, okay.
So as long as we post the agenda by the 16th,
You should be okay.
yeah.
We can meet on that Friday. That's up to y'all.
Is that 22nd, you saying?
23rd.
23rd.
Just long enough to elect officers
That'd be fine, you know.
and stuff. And that's my opinion. Y'all may have some other different opinion. I just think we need to let everybody be involved.
It's all right with the rest of them, it's all right with me.
Fine with me.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is discuss developing a template for recommendations of a proposed budget and proposed tax rate. And I believe, Mr. Roberts, maybe you have some suggestions,
As far as,
the template, what to put.
well, I used to work at La Vega Schools, and I worked there for 25 years, 23 of it. I was the maintenance director, and I did the budgets for all of maintenance and all of custodial and all of maintenance, grounds, every bit of it. But anyways, I was responsible for doing a budget every year. And we always had meetings, budget meetings before the budget ever started, okay? What they do is they go over, they give you a list here that's got, function, objectives on for the program. It's got description, it's got original budget, current budget, and requested budget. You know, I don't mind any of y'all looking at this if you would like to look at it, and you can make some copies of it if you'd like to. I mean, I'm not trying to force anything, I'm just telling you that it worked at schools for years and years and years.
And what you've got is a number system that keeps your receipts that should go in contracted services
Yes.
or in utilities.
You understand that?
Yeah.
Whenever it goes to Patilla Brown
mean,
and Hill or
what
to
you-
the bookkeeper.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It keeps it from getting put somewhere it doesn't need to be, like office supplies.
Yeah.
That is a good budget. You don't have to use the numbers that are on it.
Yeah.
And let me just say this, I'm not, I do think you need a more detailed budget. So when you come in here, every council meeting, that this stuff can be put into a ledger or whatever you want to call, so that you don't have to have it ready for the month that you're doing your council meeting, but you should have something to do, just to make sure. And I want y'all to understand, I'm getting a little forgetful, and just want you to understand that. So I could get off track on some stuff. But here's another thing that I will let you look at. This was the budget that they gave us. I want these back now, and you can go make your copy. This is the budget that was given to them for us to handle. But my deal here is, if you don't have a ledger going that you can show the board members, every board member, every time you have a board meeting, they don't have, and you can also get a ledger made up to where, if she's putting the stuff in this, that all she's got to do is just get it on a computer. So if you want to see it ahead of time, he wants to see it ahead of time, anybody, they can pull that, they can have that budget sent to them. All y'all got to do is just send it to their emails. That's all you have to do. And I don't see why you wouldn't want to do that.
I would like to have it in-house in QuickBooks, honestly, but
Have in-house what?
I would like to have all of this in-house on QuickBooks, have Sarah maintain it, and where we can
Yeah,
do our own categories.
Yeah, well.
Most of our costs are fixed costs. They really are. There's not a whole lot of latitude.
Well, no, but you're putting money into things, but you're not giving just a description of the
Right.
stuff that you're giving enough.
And
And if you did that, and people understood it more, either they're gonna be right calling you on it, or they're gonna be wrong, one of the two. And if Fern was the president of this thing, or city council, you've got to be able to keep up with your stuff. And if you're not willing to do that, y'all don't even need to have us up here.
I'm 100% with you. I have been complaining about the buckets for the longest time, like I have. So we're in simpatico with that. In fact, I thought all of that was gonna change when Holly came on board.
Yeah.
So, has Holly made any trips in here to do any categorization?
Via email.
I'm not a finance guy. I am a CEO of multiple companies though, so.
I'm not a finance guy,
Yeah.
neither. I did it for 23 years for maintenance department.
I'm big picture, that's all I.
Is Holly gonna be here for some of these meetings? Since she's the,
You wanna make copies?
isn't
No,
she the
I-
financial?
She's, yes, according to him, yes.
Anyway,
But it's not solely her responsibility to make sure that that budget is done up. He technically is responsible for it.
Well, I'm just talking about being the finance person on the
Ma'am,
council.
that was the
Yeah.
original budget.
And
I'm not
so-
saying she's in charge of it.
Yeah,
I'm
but
just
The
asking.
original budget.
under with TML and stuff, I mean, and he's in
This is
charge.
the current, the original
Of
budget.
the
This is what was probably.
And the budget and stuff at one
Okay,
time,
this
and
right
stuff,
here is
it
the current
had
budget, and this is the.
categories
that's
and
what
numbers
I
and
requested.
everything,
Oh,
and he got rid of all that.
that's all.
Yeah, I think we're 100% in alignment. Like I said, I have not liked the way things are bucketed. I don't like the overview that I get. Again, I'm not a finance guy. I'm not hard to find, despite what they say on Facebook. I'm not the receipt
Do you know
guy.
what the difference is with the contracted service and office supplies?
I
I'm
sometimes
just-
feel like I'm talking
I'm
and
just-
nobody's listening. I
I'm
said,
just-
I'm big picture.
I'm just asking, and the reason I'm asking, because when you've got a copier rental, that's a contracted service. If you've got, anything like that, a contracted type service that you've got somebody supplying you with something. Office supplies is paper, folders, file folders, things like that, pens, pencils. So when you're taking all of these contracted services and dumping them in office supplies, and you've got one month $200, and then another month $800 and something dollars, then it looks suspicious.
I don't think I set that system up, I think I inherited it, I don't think I've liked it
Well,
at any point.
I think you did.
I think I bitched about the
because
bucket since day one.
He had a system set up, and when you came in, you got rid of it.
No.
You had your own system. that you
Melissa,
put
once
in.
again,
No.
can you get anything accurate? I did, okay, so just so you guys, I didn't change anything, Patillo Brown has
You're
done
kind
it.
of taking over the meeting,
Meeting,
and,
this is our meeting.
but I don't want you not to be able to talk,
Yeah.
okay? I don't want that. But, you just got to be able to, you gotta be able to do a better job with your budget than what y'all have around here. And this is a good way, somebody else may have another one, I don't know.
I think
Yeah, can
the numbers.
pigtail off of what you just said. I have talked to the auditor for over an hour the other day. I also talked to Gail down at Tittle Hill and Brown. The auditor tells me, because I asked him about the audit, he said, I can tailor that audit to whatever's that budget for. Gail, her thing was, she can tailor her financial report to whatever the budget template is, okay? So whatever's broke out in that budget. What she did tell me was, because I asked her some questions about why, like a copier deal, why is that in office supplies? Okay?
Well,
Or why,
Let me say this to you, okay? If you didn't know anything about a budget, you could make those mistakes,
yeah,
okay? I'm gonna tell you right now, I've done on this budget and got called on it, and it had to be corrected, okay? But here's what I wanna say to this whole thing. Let's stop arguing, can we?
Yes.
I'm talking about, we come here for a meeting tonight, and I don't wanna argue, and I'm just trying to help you.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm trying to do. I think these people are trying to help you, and I understand your problem with these two, I understand. I understand their problem with you, okay? But we just need to start doing things the correct way and not the wrong way. And I tell you, the budget you got is the wrong way.
And here, and maybe this will help you understand it the best. Like, I'm not the finance guy.
Yeah.
I'm not.
No, well, the board's the finance guy, right?
Right, exactly. But somehow this all falls back on the mayor. Why isn't the mayor chasing receipts and stuff? Right,
Well-
so you got the whole town of Gholson all up in a report thing, oh, he's spending money left and right.
Okay, let's do something here, okay? Let's stop blaming each other and try to move forward and get
Yes.
the damn problem fixed.
There's your
Okay.
leader.
No, I ain't no leader. I led for 23 years, I ain't leading no more.
I agree, we need to
But-
just forget
Yes.
what's happened and just go forward and make.
Well,
a
the
new
first time I
budget.
said, I'm a Big Ten politics guy, and you said what? I just don't like you. Can you get past that, Melissa?
Well, yeah, because I work with, people all the time.
Okay.
I do.
I'm a
But
big fan
one thing
guy.
I won't put up with is you coming and making accusations and everything. I mean, you've got to stop doing that. I don't know how you're going to do that, because I don't think you have the ability to do it.
Well,
Really
don't you
don't.
see some things agonize the situation more than what it
You
needs to
could've-
do if you just don't say anything?
You could have come
I'm not
in here
telling you
and
not to
just
defend
sat
yourself.
down and listened and kind of see
Yeah.
what we have to say, but the first thing you want to do is, and
No.
I don't know, I mean, it's okay, you're not bothered.
You literally just posted that on Facebook night before last,
Yeah, I did, I can do
Yeah.
that,
so.
I can do that. We got a.
Can we do a ceasefire? Can we do a
got,
truce? I'm willing to do it right now. I promise you, if no
Are
one
you
punches me, I don't
sure?
punch back.
Are you sure?
Name one time I punched first.
Mm,
okay, let's get on with what we're here for anyway. Okay, I did up this template just to give us ideas, okay? Wasn't meant to be the final word or nothing on it. But it's built based on functions, funds, probably need to add objects and sub-objects to it, okay? All right? For instance, the road's pretty well self-explanatory, because you're basically doing crack and seal, pothole patch and crack seal. And that's basically the three things that, are the patchwork, like you're patching the road now, so. That
But
was
we
fun.
would need to know what was previously scheduled and haven't been done, and then what is planned new that is planned, because that would affect the tax rate. Because what previously is planned has already been budgeted and has already been included in the tax rate. We would only need new services to be included in the tax rate for 26, 27. That would be my comment
Yeah.
on that.
We just redeveloped the road plan, so it should be relatively dialed in, but
Yeah,
I would
we
always
just have
say
to
build
get
in
with
cushion.
somebody to get that information. Yeah.
Build in cushion, because if the county comes and says, do you want us to do this road? We're not gonna say no. We kinda, we're at their mercy,
Yeah,
otherwise,
sure.
yeah,
Are you
Their
still
schedule.
prepaying everything?
sometimes.
So you prepay?
The reason for a prepay is to lock in that price, so it's fiscally responsible.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, under city secretary, I broke it down into, like, the function on that, or the fund on that would be your salary. But underneath that, that would be the salary, but you've also got payroll taxes. But those payroll taxes, and you correct me, Vivian, if I'm wrong, are divided up in Texas unemployment taxes and federal taxes.
There's your matching, Medicare,
Yeah.
and your state and federal unemployment.
Yeah.
But neither one of those is gonna be a substantial
No,
amount.
it's not, but at least people
Yeah.
know. I mean,
Yeah.
what I'm saying is we break it down for anybody to come in here and sit down, okay, this is what it's being
I
spent
would
on.
just lump it into payroll taxes,
Okay, okay, all right.
I mean, that's what I would do, because your state and federal unemployment tax is going to be very minimal, cause it's only on the first eight and 9,000,
Well,
I
now,
think,
in that
so.
ledger, she's showing under
It's
payroll,
separated.
income tax to IRS.
Yeah.
No, that's not, that's a liability, and it should not be
Well,
included in the
But it's in the
expense.
ledger,
It's in
I'm
the-
just telling you.
But that's not an expense to the city, because that's deducted from the
Okay.
payroll, from the person. Now,
Okay,
you are, you know,
Yeah.
the person,
Okay.
the city's responsible to forward it,
Now, the
but
only
it's
thing-
not an expense.
the only thing I didn't mention in here was like meals. I've got meetings and conferences, mileage reimbursement, dues and fees, training, and I guess you'd have, meals in there with the conferences and stuff.
Yeah, all
Yeah,
right,
all that should be under.
anything,
Okay.
that total expense,
Yeah, okay. Now, the dues and fees for the city, this was all lumped together, and I'm not criticizing anybody, it was all lumped together, it's just insurance. But we're paying TML, well, dues and fees, I take that back. These are membership fees that we pay to TML, MCAD, MCTO, which is McLennan Tax Office, HOTCOG, and McLennan County Health Department. So that was kind of all, wasn't any of that broke out. So there's differing amounts. So to me, that needs to be broke down so everybody knows what, anybody on the council or anybody sitting out in the audience would know. You got your elections, that's kind of a self-explanatory thing. Insurance, we've got, I had building property TML, but I broke that down because you'd end up having some sub objects underneath that, because we have cyber security insurance, you have errors and omission liability, you have real and personal property liability, workman's comp, and general liability.
Well, workers' comp should be back up under city secretary and payroll, it's part of
Okay.
that, I would,
Well, that's
that's
the
what
reason
I
I'm
would
asking.
say, cause it's part of payroll expense.
Okay, so that, we're not gonna make a decision on this now.
Yeah.
We're just going over it so everybody can think about it, and then when we meet again, we can kind of, you know, everybody's had a chance to look at it. I don't wanna vote on anything
Could I just ask
tonight.
one question? You're saying that, would you say what you just said again?
What's that?
About,
Workers' comp?
yes,
It's not, workers' comp is related to payroll.
okay, yeah, but, your,
So I would
what is
put
it,
it,
managing?
I would put it with the payroll expense.
Well, I thought payroll would be a different situation than that, but,
Well,
It's not, because usually if your employee gets hurt at work, and that's where the workman's comp comes in. And then you have to deal with that and send them and stuff to go get checked. And then now, you know, I know we have like a separate account code that stuff comes out of, so that you know what it's, but
Well-
everybody's different and stuff.
Well,
You
yeah,
need something
I just
somewhere.
think if you look at the budget that Vernon's got over there, everything that y'all are asking for is in this budget. I'm not telling you to adopt a school budget, but I'm telling you, this thing's had years and
It's
years
line
and
item.
years of breakdown from school districts
It's line item.
because they want to be able to keep up with the money. You know, I mean, that's what they do. And if you've got somebody misappropriating funds, or they accidentally put it into the wrong category, and that can happen. All you got to do is look at it, and you can say to them, "That's not where that goes." And,
What
and
is
you
their
ought to be willing
accounting
to hold up.
practices? What is their accounting practices? I mean, do they have a system
Yes,
in place that
yes.
brings
Every school
in
district does.
information
We
and?
have to go by FASRAC, which is an accounting number system, and it's a book about that thick.
No, what I mean is in other words, what's the accountability system? In other words, what y'all keep talking about like receipts or whatever expenditures
Well,
that
yeah.
occur.
I can tell you what
How does that work in a school?
How it works in a school, okay, I'm a regular old maintenance worker,
Uh-huh.
okay? And, I have got, I need to go Home Depot to get something.
Right.
I need to go to Atwoods to get something.
Mhm.
Well, when I get that thing, everything, all bills came into me that concern maintenance, okay?
Mhm.
So what they did is, my mind's slipping a little bit, but you have to, could you repeat to me what I was saying, please?
When
The FASRAC that you were using,
when
the accounting system that you were using?
Yeah, it's that wasn't where I was going.
Oh,
But
sorry.
you've got to be able to, guys, I'm not doing a very good job.
is it a PO
I
type
can,
situation?
I can
like
tell you
actually-
I can tell you what we do. We have if you know you need to purchase something, you're required to put a purchase requisition into the software system that we use, okay?
And what is that system?
That system that we use is called Ascender, okay?
Say that again.
Ascender,
Ascender.
okay, it's Ascender software. Now,
Okay.
that's for public school districts, okay? You have
That's
Ascender-
only for school districts? It's not?
Yeah, as far as I
Okay.
know. Now, I'm sure that you can find some software to do that, to do a purchase requisition, but I'm just telling you how a school district
But
works.
this city is not on the level of a school district.
No.
The
No,
expenditures that
School board
happen
has
here,
millions of
It's
dollars.
still public money. You-
it's still public
you
money, but
still
it's not the
need-
level of it.
No.
No,
You
no.
still need a purchase requisition, you need a purchase order, you need a receipt, and you need, if you're paying by check, which I'm assuming that's what y'all are doing, right? Y'all sign checks?
It depends on what it is.
Well, I'm asking, y'all sign checks and stuff every month, don't you?
For a few
Hey.
things.
Yeah, for a few things at the end of the meeting.
Okay. So you should, if you follow those kinds of steps, you won't get yourself where you don't have receipts for things, okay? When you get yourself in trouble is when you don't have receipts for items, okay? And when an auditor, if they're doing their job correctly, they're going to ask you for, they do random pulls. They'll ask you for certain things that they see that you spent. You have to go get all that, give it to them. I know that if we have something and we don't have a receipt for it, or we don't have a requisition or purchase order, that's not good. I mean, that you'll get written up for it, okay? So it's just more or less to save yourself from getting yourself into a bind with not having anything like receipts or checks and stuff that go with those receipts. I know that even with credit card purchases, when they check out a credit card, they take it, say, to go to Home Depot to buy something. they get back, they turn the credit card in, they sign the ledger thing and stuff where, you know, they've checked it out, that they're checking it back in. And then they also bring that accounts payable person a receipt, and then they sign off on it. They sign and date it. They give it to the girl that's taking care of that stuff, the accounts payable, and then when the bill comes in, she's got all the receipts that should be on that bill. It's just to cover yourself.
I see.
That's all it is.
Mhm.
And if you put those in place, you don't have
So
problems.
the reason I'm asking these questions is you're saying that right there is a good budget. So
This is
it has to be
good.
reconciled in some way, shape, or form to become
Sure,
the
I'm
document
not
that you
asking
have
you to
there.
take this budget.
I'm sorry?
I mean, I'm not asking you to use.
No, I'm not against
Yeah,
using
I
that budget.
understand.
I'm asking how the process is to get that budget.
Well,
Is all I was asking, and I understand based on what she's saying,
I give
you
you copies
basically
of
are
this
coming
budget.
into a central location for everything, and then it produces what the expenditures of are that shows
And you
what
should
that
be
you can
able to-
balance a budget.
We should be able to have a report every month and what was budgeted and what came out of that budget and
How much
how
is
much
left.
is left.
Gotcha.
And then that
I'll-
way, if you know how much is left and how much you've spent, then, you know, if you're getting towards the end of the fiscal year and you can look at it and go, okay, we've stayed within our budget on there. We haven't overspent, you know, or anything like that. You may have a little money left, say, in there that you might want to move some, you know, somewhere
Yeah.
else within that same, you know,
Okay,
so.
And you might have something that you didn't expect.
okay.
Let me answer a question for you the way that I handled my budget, okay, and the way
Okay.
that the school district handled it. They didn't have, probably Moscona School District, if they want POs for everything.
Okay.
Vegas didn't need, they had POs that we did POs on, but a lot of the stuff was just bought on credit card or bought at a refrigeration place. And when the guys brought that ticket back to me, every ticket that came to maintenance came through me. I seen every piece of this paper, okay,
Mhm.
for 23 years.
I see.
Okay, my deal here is, if you don't have, what was I saying here? I'm telling you, I got
You were on receipts.
Huh?
You were on
Receipts.
receipts.
The receipts, I take the receipts and I would know, I know this budget by heart because it has, I used it for 3 years, okay? What you do is when they bring the receipt to me, I code it to whatever this code says it's gonna be, okay? And then I write that on the ticket. And then what I had is I had a secretary there that was, she did all the payroll, not payroll, but all this stuff right here on the budget. She would fill it out, fill out a payment request part, and then it would go to, over across the street. You know, and that's how that bill got paid. But if I had any doubts about anybody wanting to know what was on that ticket, or any ticket, I just wrote something a little extra in there. This is what this was for. I didn't just put, just say this,
You just didn't put Home Depot.
You didn't just put Home Depot,
and, like, picked up a box of eggs or something,
Yeah,
so that they could.
but that, it was also, it was charged to a campus. Okay, it was
So-
charged.
So a question for you in that. So when it came to the next year, did you refer to that previous years to develop
I
it?
always refer to previous year minutes.
So how far back did you go in
Me, I
historical?
just went a
You
year.
just go.
Just 1 year?
Yeah, that's all I would. But you've gotta have something to go by, get something, get your.
The reason I'm asking that question is I mean, it's kind of like in a lot of things, you look at the expenditure of several, in my opinion, you are the committee, you're going to do what you want. But in my opinion, you need to look at several years of expenditures Not looking at receipts, I'm talking about cost. Breakdown of the cost. I'm not saying you gotta go back and dig up a bunch of receipts and all that. What I'm saying is you look at the cost of the past, and are you pointing at something?
I was gonna tell you, if you'll get one of those packets.
I got it right here.
Okay, that's all in,
That's all in there to see,
Yeah.
to see the pattern of spending.
There's a
yeah. But
section.
this, everybody's probably wondering why this thing is so thick. Well, it was done up, and I took the initiative to do it, and I talked, conferred with some people outside of the city about it. This is gonna be used for the whole process, okay? So this is just not for one meeting.
Right.
But I didn't wanna be running stuff off all the time. I did it all and put it in a packet. So I've gone back as far as 209 in the audits. And there's a pattern in there, you can see it. We had a high tax rate, nothing was spent. This is how all the money got in there, okay? So you can follow through that. I've also got bar drafts in there that done by hand, because I wasn't smart enough to get on the computer and do them.
And, well, Billy, there's a reason that I'm also saying this too, is it goes back to, I listened to the auditor. And the auditor said that several years ago, we didn't spend any money on roads. So if you're going and looking at that time frame of several years ago when we didn't spend any money on roads, and now all of a sudden, boom,
Yeah,
you got this big expenditure that's coming out on roads now, you're gonna have to balance that out somehow, one way or the other, because back then, I think I'm right, and I think I heard the auditor standing right beside me say that back then when there was a surplus of funds, we wasn't doing nothing on roads. Now we're doing something on roads, well, that expense is gonna be up there, so how are you, all I'm saying is you can't, I know you look at historicals, but you go back too far, you're gonna show, we didn't spend anything
I would say
on
no
roads.
more than 3 years. If you're gonna go back, I would not go back further than 3 years.
3 years?
That's as a.
What did y'all, that's why I'm at,
Yeah.
I know I'm going off the
No, that's
deep end
fine.
around the thing,
Yeah.
but when y'all did a budget in your maintenance department,
Well, let me tell you what
did you just go the past year?
I look at the past year because that's where your prices are gonna be at.
Okay,
2, 3, 4 years ago, your prices could be way up from that.
right.
Okay. But, I just,
Well, no, only reason I say 3 years, I would compare those 3 years, say.
To see what the cost is doing.
Yeah.
Because
see
it
what
could
cost
be
is
increasing
doing.
on a regular on a
Right.
3-year step,
Mhm.
and
Right,
you may
so-
have to budget
Yeah.
for an increase in the expenditures on
But
some
yes.
roads.
My accounting was transportation, and so, we have our own shop.
Mhm.
So mine was, say, I'm gonna look at parts.
Mhm.
Well, I'm gonna look at parts 3 years ago, 2 years ago, and last year to see the trend of how they're
How
going up.
high it's going
So
up.
that I know what to apply to the current year's expenditure to create the budget for the next year. Let's
Okay.
say it's gone up 5% a year, then that's what I
It
would.
could be a percentage basis.
Right, that's why I say 3 years.
Okay.
But the city's different than that too, because they have, I think, you mentioned a lot of fixed costs. You have the copier, you have the utilities and stuff that you don't necessarily have that with as you do in a business type thing.
The unknowns are like the road.
Right.
We have 2 unknowns, roads and trees.
Trees, that's
Yeah.
right.
That's the big one. Roads and-
That's it is,
And,
it
and,
is.
and it can be a wild swing, like, I know I got a lot of flack for the trees, but you gotta remember, we had 4 whoppers of a storm, and we had 4 whoppers, trees that went and completely blocked traffic. One of them that required a crane for 2 days. That's gonna cost some money, it is what it is.
Part of frame they did.
Yeah,
Going back and extending time on roads is not gonna be,
No,
you're not gonna be able to do that in our case.
no,
More we had COVID, and then the
Yeah.
county had the flooding disaster, nothing happened. And now roads just got picked back up again last year.
and that's why I
That's
said
really the
we
only
would
one.
need, yeah, two numbers in roads, one that previously planned and have the taxes been collected for those, for what it just wasn't spent.
It seems like this past year, we've had some pretty good,
Mhm.
I'm going off what I heard, that we've had some roads repaired, so it might be a good year to be able to look at that, because you can
And
almost
what
base it, because we've had a lot of
schedule,
repair,
And
road
what the
repairs
council
done.
has scheduled for this coming
Yeah.
year. And you do too, because you don't want those previously planned roads that have already been taxed in your tax rate for this year. That's the reason to have two different numbers. You want old road money and what new expenditures are, because only the new expenditures need to be included in creating a tax rate.
Can we go ahead and get back to this?
Sure.
Kind of,
But I'd like to answer one question
Okay.
to this gentleman. He asked me a question. You asked me, I think maybe you were getting around this, what if you run out of money in one of these accounts? Okay? I decide, well, I can't pay that bill, because if I send that bill over there and I've missed something, they'll send it back to me and say, you don't have any money in that account, you're gonna have to make a purchase. You're gonna have to make a payment request for that. No, the payment request is what the girl was making, but what am I trying to say here? God, I just lost it.
Really, you answered my question, you really did, because I was just wanting to know what you looked at and how the process worked at a school.
Yeah, well, see, what happens here on this is, especially down toward the end of the year, you start running out of money in all of these accounts, and some things happen that y'all don't know is gonna happen.
Right.
Okay, well, if I didn't, the first thing they requested me to do was file an order,
A budget amendment, a budget amendment.
a budget amendment. Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Payment. Yeah, budget amendment, and I had to find the money in my budget to cover. I may have to put more money in the budget that just got out of budget, because there's no money left there.
And may I explain a
You probably-
budget amendment? Usually you have a budget amendment when you have to move money from one function to a completely different type of function.
So you're
okay?
saying pull from one department to another?
And I'll give you an example of it. Let's say I had function 51 and I had, say, $1,000 in that function. I need some more money in function 22. I have to go before the board, and they have to agree to move that money from one function to another, because they're two completely different.
So what I'm
Two
hearing
completely different funds and functions.
could be a possibility in a city scenario. Say you budgeted $5,000 for P&Z, and P&Z didn't use one dime of it.
Yeah.
Then if the city overran their budget on the roads, they could go to that expenditure planned
If it
for
was
P&Z and pull that money to the roads.
If it was an emergency type of situation, you don't want to do that unless it's something that is unexpected and you had no way of dealing with it and stuff other than doing that. Because, like I said, you're getting your board to vote to move money. And we have like laws and guidelines in that FASRAC that you have to adhere to and stuff, or you can get in a lot of trouble with, say, TEA, okay? You don't want that. And so, when you have a budget amendment and stuff, I know like us, we usually do it on colored paper. They vote on it and stuff in a board meeting. They vote to take care of it. They've got it written down there and stuff, what exactly it's for and how much they're moving. And then the superintendent goes and signs off on it, and then the
hey, Brad, what's going on?
information goes back to the business manager.
Yeah.
And then she is in charge of taking care of that and moving it from one place to another.
Okay.
And the other thing you got too is, you got your general fund.
Yeah, well, yeah.
You get down toward the end of the year and you start running out of money, and I don't have no money to put anywhere else. Okay, I don't have no money to take from utilities to, it doesn't make any difference what it is. I don't have the money for it. You're supposed to have money in your general fund to cover that.
we've got time.
And if you don't have any general money, if you don't have any in that fund, where are you gonna come up with the money?
Right.
Or you'll just have to
In,
wait.
in the main general fund or your general fund?
It's general.
It's a general fund that I did.
He's referring to the
Only,
budget he's done.
only the administration held that. All I could do was put a request in to have money moved. They made the decision, and if they didn't like where I was moving from, they'd do that, or they would take money out of the general fund.
There's always supposed to be money in the general fund. You're required to have a certain percentage of your operating expense. So many months of the year, you're supposed to have that much money.
They did that, you're
Yeah.
right.
And you
You're
did.
exactly right.
Yeah, the general rule of thumb on that 6 months.
Yeah, and they did, but, there's gonna be times that you're gonna have to just, you're gonna have to find the money for some stuff, and if you don't have the money, you're gonna have to find out what you're gonna cut. That's plain and simple. I mean, hell, Bernie, you'd do that as a businessman, wouldn't you?
Well, I've been through budgets. I've been on the city council.
Say that again?
I've been on the city council where we did budgets. It's a little
Mhm.
bit, it's a lot different than what we have here.
Mhm.
It's getting more back to having department heads. You know, we gotta, and here y'all are kinda acting like the city manager. You're gonna create a budget, and then we're gonna go before the council, and you're gonna present that to the council, item by item by item, and it's gonna get discussed. And the council's gonna say, well, you
They're
know,
gonna say yes or
why
no.
did you do this? Why, how did you get that number? Cause I think we ought to have this much. Well, it's the same thing. We meet 2 or 3 times after the city manager prepared the budget.
Mhm.
All the council would meet, be a special call meeting on Saturdays. And whoever we were gonna talk about that day, those department heads would be right there in that audience. And they would have to answer questions from the council.
You
Why?
talking about, school officials or?
City council.
City council.
He's
Okay.
but he's a bigger city than.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
that's a bigger city. We're a small
You got
city.
such a small city here, I don't see why this is I don't see why it's such a hard thing.
It's not.
I agree.
It's not.
This is not a hard thing. I had, school district has millions of dollars of budget. Y'all have what, 500,000 or?
Listen to that. No,
But the main thing is that the main thing that I see is that it's a balanced budget.
Yes,
It's not a deficit budget. It's a balanced budget, and it makes our city stronger.
yes.
Right.
That's,
I
that's,
agree.
that's the way I'm looking at it. That's why I'm here tonight, and that's the way I look at it.
I agree with
We're,
what you're
we're,
saying.
we're pretty regularly spending $350,000 a year. That's ballpark where we're coming in at. And that was even chance my first year, the second, yeah, that's ballpark where we're coming in at. Like I say, even the auditor said it, our costs are pretty much fixed. We need to leave, and we're always gonna have a wacky budget because you gotta go big. Like, we need to go big on things like I would recommend, highly recommend, go big on the city park because we got grants in play. Suppose we gotta front the money and then we claw it back.
How much money are we talking?
It depends on the grant, but we got the flood grant coming up.
And
That-
do we have to front money up on that too?
It depends on which flood grant we get.
So, I mean, what are you thinking as far as an exorbitant budget? I mean, you're not gonna be able to sustain that. You're not,
But you get.
unless you go up on taxes more. You're not gonna be able
Uh,
to sustain any of that. And I'm not being ugly, I'm
Yeah,
just
no,
telling you.
no, well,
You know,
listen, simple math, because I'm a simple math guy, right? We get 90 grand, right now where we're at, we get 90 grand and 90 grand. Property tax, sales tax. We're spending 350. Last year I said we need to go up to 9, everyone, ah! And that's just simple math. I'm not a finance guy, but I'm like, 90, we're spending 350 consistently. I can do basic math. I'm like, we're way off. You know, plus I predicted the roads within $2,000. I said with the compound inflation, with the PPP that we gotta take into effect, with BRICS and the devaluing of the currency, I said our inflation rate's gonna probably be roughly double. And it came out to almost roughly double. I said it's gonna be 100,000, it came in at 98,000 if you pull that through the circle. So I'm like factoring in macroeconomic stuff. So, you know, but otherwise, it's,
But you don't set the budget, right?
no, I'm just saying that's where it's at.
Okay. The board sets the budget.
Yeah.
Okay, getting back to where we were at. There's a couple of things I listed on here, and again, where do you wanna put them? if you got a port, you're gonna have port liability, and you're gonna have insurance on your port facility. So where do you wanna put that? That's something you can think about. Do you put it under insurance and stuff, or are you gonna put it under your port community services? That's something you just need to think about. And then there's a legal professional stuff that's pretty set. You got attorney retainer, litigation expenses, audit, accounting, office expenses, pretty well explained a while ago. Repairs,
Yeah, I don't think, in office expenses, I don't think you need to break down copy paper.
well, I just put that in there.
Folders. I
Well,
mean, that's what's in office expenses, but I don't think you need
I
to.
think what's
have-
been happening though, they've been putting contracted services in there.
Well,
And you
that
can't
might
do-
be something
You
different.
can't do that,
Uh,
because that's not an
Yeah,
office supply.
This
but
is just
I'm
something to
just,
discuss.
I'm just talking about what's right here.
Yeah,
It says copy paper, pens, pencils, folders.
Well-
You don't wanna break that down, that detail. It's not enough money. And it's a waste.
No, but
Well,
you,
that-
but what you, I'm sorry.
no, you go ahead.
What you can do though is what a budget like this tells you to do. When you have this and you decide you're going to do waters and utilities and whatever.
Yeah, but we're talking
Yeah.
office expenses.
Office expenses, copy paper, I would think needs to, anything that you get a bill for needs to be itemized. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's paper. I don't care what it is. You've got to keep track of what you're spending and what you're spending it for. If you're not gonna do that, send us home. 'Cause I don't want no more of it.
Okay.
okay, and then you got repairs and maintenance. You got your building, your grounds, drainage, covers, and added another one on those driveways. Again, I didn't know, I had done covers and driveways, so then I broke it out. But this is all up for discussion later on. We're not gonna make any decisions tonight anyway. Just got water, had that broken down into water, but you got your building, you got a park, you're gonna have a meter up there, so those need to be separate, identified in that budget separately. Electric, same thing, building, park, we also got a bill we're paying on the sovereign every month, so that needs to be broken out. I do know what was happening when I talked to Gail, and the reason I did this, like this, to make this template, just as an example, what was happening was, there were things that were in, and not blaming anybody, but there were things in last year's budget that didn't have a place to be put. And so what she was doing, and she told me this, and she told me the attorneys knew it, and council knew it, that she was dumping expenses into any category just to show somewhere. And that's what we found out in the $7,200 on the office supplies. That wasn't all office supplies, there's a bunch of stuff dumped in there, okay? So if you want to keep people informed and be transparent, then we need to break all that stuff out. It needs to be broken out. And that's my only point.
It needs to be broken up to the correct
Yeah,
account,
Yeah.
not,
That's our biggest problem, it's bucketing, but I promise you, those expenses, that 4,000, it's gonna pop up last year, it's gonna pop up the year before, that's our annual renewal thing, it just looks wacky. I've been saying that from the
Okay.
beginning,
And then-
our buckets is what needs to be fixed.
I'm not aware, I had telephone here, but then I got to thinking, well, do we have cell phones that the city pays for?
No,
Okay, just a landline?
that's correct.
Okay, so okay. You got your, internet, which is, Netflix,
Yes,
okay? You got your broadcast of meetings, which is Zoom,
yes.
okay? Contracted services, we had cleanup days, and so I broke that down into dumpsters, tire truck, and paid overseer. Because that's all connected with the cleanup. Tree trimming and removal, copier, I broke that out to show, and it was a lease. It's a digital scanning service, you got your website, you got your trash service, which is different from cleanup days. So that needs to be, to me, needs to be broken out so everybody understands what's going on. You've got your pest control, your computer maintenance, you've got software upgrade, and your advertising that you do for either jobs or things that you have to post in the paper about budget hearings, tax hearings, and everything.
Have you got that in there as, Have you got that in there as contracted services, or do you have that in there as,
Contracted services.
contracted services?
Yeah.
That's what you got in there?
Yeah, and again, this is all up for discussion
No, I-
and stuff, so I want, everybody needs to have some time to
understand.
regurgitate this thing or think through it, okay? And, even that advertising could be broken down in requests for proposals like in the West News, and even broken down into, required postings such as your budget, tax rate, audit and stuff, or, tax rate and budget hearings. And then your capital outlay, I left as building, equipment, computers, furniture, and I put a question mark by that on mine, because and then the training for council, mayor, workshops for them, travel and reimbursement. Also for planning and zoning, the same thing. Same thing for budget committee. Your interlocal agreements with nonprofits like Gholson Volunteer and West EMS, and then under community services, I put the park. And again, there may be things that need to be added or taken out or whatever, but I broke that down into city park, picnic tables, playground, equipment, walking trail, whatever they decide to do. And I broke fencing, maintenance of grounds for the park.
No, this, that's what I was gonna ask.
Yeah, yeah,
Is the fencing for the park?
yeah, that's all under community services, yeah, park,
Right,
yeah,
but
Yeah.
it kinda got moved over to.
yeah, yeah. Well,
Okay,
Gholson Fest broke down into entertainment, advertising, porta potties, cleanup, rental fee, entertainment devices, whatever. Insurance you gotta have, I didn't have, I ran onto this when I was going through that general ledger. There was insurance that they had to have security, and they had to have a postal bond. And so that's one of the reasons I wanted to look at that general ledger to see what all was being spent and where. And, so that's kinda, and again, this is just something for y'all to think about. We can
Just look on it, that's all I want you to do.
go into more detail, when we have our next meeting. And y'all may come up with things that need to be taken out or added or whatever.
But I'm 100% with you.
Well, I just think you need to look to it, and see- you need to look a whole budget over and just see what a real budget's supposed to look like.
Yeah, well,
I mean-
yeah, I have my
I
company
mean, I can
budgets.
make up a budget at my house and say, well, I'm gonna pay for this, and I'm gonna pay for that, or I'm gonna go borrow money, I'm gonna do this, but I try to stay within my budget.
Yeah,
Okay. In this same thing on budget, I put in there, it's, written by Bill Longley, Texas, TML Legislative Council, the laws and the process that you gotta go through in doing the budget, passing the budget and everything. And, we'll get into that a little bit more detail when we go on the budget calendar, a proposed budget calendar, and stuff. Then I've also put in here, now I know these administrative procedures and information was given to Holly. Don't think anything, not accusing her or anything, nothing I don't think's been done with this. But I put in here some examples, just examples of like a requisition, how it needs to be filled out, an example of a purchase order. I didn't have a check stub to put here, but, and stuff, but, and everything. So that's what all that's about. I know,
The only thing that those administrative procedures and everything, those are more of a guide, which would help Sarah, okay? Because, you know, if you're going to conferences and everything, that way you can know, you've got, you know, where you're going to the conference at, how many people's going, make sure each one of them has their per diem, make sure they've got their hotels accounted for, make sure they have, you know, any parking, because they usually charge you for parking nowadays and stuff. And I mean, it's a guide to help you make sure that you've got everything taken care of and everybody knows what all's gonna get spent. Because the last thing you want to happen is for a bill to come in and you find out instead of just what you might have thought was a $500 conference, just for the conference, you didn't think about, people didn't think about, well, they've gotta have a hotel, they've gotta have per diem, they're doing mileage. I mean, they don't think about that. But if you use something like that as a guide, it keeps you from having problems with stuff. I mean, it's just to cover yourself and make sure you have everything and you're not missing anything like hotel reservations,
Yeah.
so.
Okay, in the budget calendar, the law, that laws that I was talking about, the TML legislature kind, there are laws on the books that you have to follow. If you miss those dates, then you've got to start all over and stuff. And, I've left blanks in here because again, it's something to discuss, but, I've got in here April 30th deadline, for making, invoices, PO statements available for review by budget committee, because we're gonna have to be able to look at stuff to find out what was spent last year. And we can't look at the financial report because we know that things have been dumped in there that wasn't supposed to be where they were at. So you're, basically starting from scratch. Okay, and then the date set up between May and July, and I left those blanks so each year it can be done. Each year, reading those blanks are there. Budget, we get into begin work on like 26, 27 city budget. July to deadline for budget committee to complete recommended budget. July and a date we meet with city council to approve and go over and discuss the budget, and that may take a couple of meetings, who knows, and stuff. Deadline for city council to file fiscal year budget with city secretary. Now, I didn't put any dates in there, but basically what you got to do, we've got to get that budget has to be prepared in enough time, and I did a sample calendar here. It has to be prepared in enough time to allow certain things to happen. And so first of all, sometime probably at the end of July, towards the end of July, that budget process needs to be completed. Because you have to wait, once the budget's filed with the secretary, okay? Once it's filed with the secretary, you have to wait at least 15 days before you can have a budget hearing. You've also got to put a notice in the paper at least 10 days prior to the budget hearing to let people know. The problem is with using West News over there, they've only come out on Thursday, so you've got to plan ahead. So you actually got to put that notice in the paper 2 weeks ahead of time.
Do you have to put it in the paper?
Yes.
Or can it just be posted out here?
No, it has to be put in the paper.
Okay.
Okay? That's law. Okay, and so then in other words, you've got to let 15 days pass before you can actually have your budget hearing, but you've also got to get your notices out. Okay, once you file that budget with the secretary, you've got to wait at least 30 days before you can have a tax hearing. Okay? Now, since you're a small taxing unit, that only has to be published 7 days prior to the hearing. But again, it has to be put in the West News, so you've got to plan ahead because of the once a week deal with it and stuff. So, and everything. So, and that complaint he was fussing about a while ago was filed because that year they did not follow, they violated the calendar.
Well, let me ask you a question. Can I ask you a quick? Okay, so I know we're saying West News, but is that the only news outlet that?
Well, that's designated
why
right
can't
now.
it be?
That is designated as our hometown paper, and you got to put it in your hometown.
We've designated as Gholson's hometown paper.
Mm-hmm. And you don't want to go to Waco.
It's high.
No, I don't want to go to Waco.
I'm just
But
saying.
what I'm asking is I mean, it seems like today in the digital age of today that there's got to be another way that we can do this notice without having to just rely on West Damn News. That's why I'm asking.
We, as a school district, still have to do it in the paper too. And I'm gonna tell you right now, Waco, it's very expensive to put that in the Waco paper.
Yeah.
I mean, it's terrible.
Does it have to be a certain size?
Certain things have to be published in 18-point print, depending on, I mean, yeah, some of it has to be done.
Okay.
Yeah. The law governs all that.
I guess
This
if you
book right
think
here,
about it, West is the cheaper of the
These
two.
government codes right here,
I
they
don't
will
disagree.
spell out everything you've got to
I
do. It's
agree.
just like a school
I
district.
just think that
I know.
and stuff.
Putting it on the Gholson website
It'd
Would
be,
be,
yeah.
would suffice, but I guess it doesn't. If the law says we gotta put it in the paper, we gotta put it in the paper. That's why I was asking
Yeah.
that
It wouldn't
question.
hurt for it to be put on there.
Well,
Yeah,
you've got to put it on the
Oh, yeah,
website,
okay.
yeah.
okay? You've got to
But
put,
you
but
just
you've also
don't have
got to
to
run it in a paper, and it has to be a paper of general circulation in your,
I mean, the right one to use would be.
yeah, go ahead, oh, that's right, cheap, okay? I put the budget, the bylaws in here for the budget committee. I got, and this is my opinion, you can do what you want to, or we can discuss it, that, we're not gonna be dealing with any money,
No, you will.
okay? If we spend anything, we'll have to go through the council to do it, so I see no need for a treasurer. So what I'm suggesting is that we ask the council to amend that, bylaws to, do away with the office of treasurer, because we don't really need one. I mean, it's, the other thing in here,
You've already spent money.
huh?
You've already spent money. This
Yeah,
is-
but,
this is not
but
free.
it went through the cities, what I'm
But
saying.
it's not free, and you don't have a budget. You don't have money to spend.
Vernon, would you rather us not print that
Hey,
stuff
I'm just
out?
telling you,
I mean,
that this is not
it's,
free.
it's no
you don't have a
different,
budget.
it's no different than the city council printing out packets and stuff for its audience. We
I think
can
what he's saying is because
not
we have
do
a
that.
budget for office
I
supplies.
know that.
Yeah.
I
They,
know.
yeah, we don't.
I know
they
what
have a
he's
budget.
saying.
You don't have a budget.
You
Go ahead.
don't
Yeah,
need
Neither
that.
neither does the planning and zoning,
Yeah.
okay, just be
They-
honest.
The planning and zoning has a budget.
For what?
They have money in
They should
there for, they have a budget.
For what?
Y'all didn't,
Not in.
okay, so the planning and zoning used to have a budget, y'all didn't budget for the planning and zoning to
Yeah,
have
that's right,
anything
Bucky
this
did the
past
budget
time.
this year.
This last year, it wasn't included.
No,
No.
they didn't give us any.
There's really.
The year before, the prior year, they budgeted
I
so much for
put
planning and zoning.
And,
but we
and
didn't.
no money was budgeted for us for this year.
For planning and
Because
zoning?
we
For-
didn't
no, for
exist when the
budget
budget
committee.
was done.
Oh, okay.
And all of
Okay.
this stuff that we're printing.
I'm not
off is
saying you
being-
shouldn't do it.
Is being done for the city's behalf in the first place.
You're missing the whole point.
No, I'm not
Yes,
missing the
you are.
whole
You're
point,
missing the whole
Vernon.
point.
Okay, the only other thing I'm gonna suggest in here is they got in the bylaws that, the chair of the, committee cannot vote. We are operating on Robert's Rules of Order that was adopted by the city council. In Robert's Rules of Order, a committee of less than 5, the chair can vote, he's just like a regular member, okay? And that's in Robert's Rules of Order, and stuff, 50.25, I believe, and 49.21, and stuff. But I'd like to ask them to amend that to where, since we're a committee of less than 12, if you're a committee of 12 or more, yes, that applies, but in small committees, it does not, and stuff, so. And again, the council may approve that or may not, but I just think we need to present a motion to them to have that done. That's my opinion, in my opinion only, but,
And you might keep in mind too, I know when I was on the planning and zoning, and Ginger was still with us, she always voted, and she was the chair and stuff, because we had people not showing up, so, I mean, that's something that you need to kind of keep in mind and stuff, because if you have somebody that's not there,
I also feel like that whoever the president is, and I'll just be upfront with you, if I can't vote, I'll decline being the president or chair, okay? I think it ought to apply to planning and zoning also.
What's that?
But you're less than, less than 12 members, that the chair ought to be able to vote, make motions, discuss, whatever. I mean, that's just, we're only 5 people here and stuff. So, again, the council will get to decide that, but that's just my recommendation or thoughts. And I don't think that as a person on this committee, I ought to be, anybody ought to be able to sit back and say, well, I don't have anything to do with that because I don't have a vote. You're on here, you ought to be comfortable with the rest. Shouldn't be able to sit back and say, well, I didn't have anything to do with that and stuff, because I can't vote. And that's my opinion. So, again, I don't know if anybody's got anything they want to say or whatever on the committee.
The other thing and stuff that we need to think about doing, and I would even suggest it for council members too, conflicts of disclosure. For instance, if you are on a committee and say you've got a business or something, or even the council for that matter, and we've got one that's got a tree business and stuff, that's a conflict of interest and stuff. You need to be filling out conflict of disclosures and stuff and posting them on your website and stuff so that people can see if you do have a conflict with something, they know what it is. And so, and that's just to protect you and stuff. We do that and stuff for school districts and stuff too.
Even if you're not bidding the work?
Even what?
Even if you're not bidding the work?
Yeah, I mean, I would just to protect yourself. I mean, you can not do it, but I mean, it's just more of a.
Actually, Vernon, if you've got a conflict of interest, let's say I own a business, for example, and I'm doing business with the city. Anything that would have to pertain to me and the business I'm in, I cannot discuss it. I cannot be a part of that discussion. I can't vote.
Rick's been pretty good about that. He abstains from all the tree votes.
Huh?
I said Rick has been really good about that. He abstains
Well,
from the tree
I'm
votes.
not saying he wasn't, but I'm just saying, you know, so, now, one thing I did skip over here was, in here, I put a section that I went back and did analysis, and that's kind of what I was telling Kevin Lobo. There's a section in here where I went back and looked at stuff for several years, just to give everybody a sense of where we've been. And I'm a firm believer, if you don't pay attention to your past history and what's going on, then you're bound to fail at whatever you're doing in the future. So you need to have some kind of understanding. Not going to bother about going through all of this piece by piece, but and stuff. But there's a couple of things that stand out right real big, like on investment interest and revenue. For years they got very little interest. I realized that the interest rate was low. Okay, I understand that and stuff. But they had over $500,000 in the bank in a checking account that wasn't drawing anything for years. And that got invested in 2021, and you can see on this chart where the interest rates started picking up. Then in 23, we went with some of that money into tax pool, and it really took off the interest did. So that's the reason that interest built up there, is because, and you can blame me for it, I was the one that brought it up. You need to take this money and get it out of checking and get it invested. And, you know, I think, what, 2025, it got over $31,000 in interest. So, there's no need. Sales tax, the same thing. You kind of look at that and see where Gholson, the general dollar came in, because in 2019 you were getting about $56,000 in sales tax, and in that 2020 it jumped up into the 90,000, and this past year you got 111 something. So you can see, and most of that is attributed to the general dollar. But like I said, I'm a firm believer, if you don't pay attention to past history, then you're doomed to fail in the future or make the same mistakes over and over. So I'm not going to try to go through all this piece by piece, but I put it in there mostly for information and stuff. So, you know, you can throw this whole thing in the trash if you don't want to look at it or whatever.
I've looked at it.
Huh?
I've already looked at it.
Well, and stuff. And same thing, There's a couple of things in here that, on a couple of these graphs that shows, one of them was when we got the COVID money. And our income jumped way up there. Well, what happened was, we didn't know when we was gonna get that COVID money, or we was gonna get any of it. So it came in the middle of a fiscal year, and so our income jumped up to, way up there to $300-something thousand that year. So what I did on that graph, I took that money out that we got, so you could get an idea of what you would have actually spent if that hadn't been part of it.
What year was that?
Huh?
What year was that that you got it?
21.
21, I think.
Okay.
And then we got two deposits. We got one in 2021, and the next we got the rest of it the following year. I did the same thing with the income for this year, because it jumped way up there. But the reason for it is because of the $108,000 donation of land, and so in this graph, I took that out to show actually what expenses would be, because it's misleading.
Yeah.
And so if you don't pay attention to that stuff, then, you know, somebody just looking at it saying, well, why did this all jump up? Well, there's a reason. So I took it out, I added it in one place and took it out at the other to show actually what the expenditures might have been, or would have been, for that year if you hadn't had that port land up there and stuff. So that's what these things are. So, and everything. But, and then Melissa's already mentioned conflict of interest, so. At this time, does anybody, have any of them got anything to say or whatever?
I've got here, if you want to look at it, you look at it. If you don't, you don't. This is what I received before I got to do my budgets. And what it is it's last year's budgets, and they have everything detailed in there. Thanks, sir. They have everything detailed in there, and
Yeah.
and it shows you how. I mean, if you just look at it, it shows you how to do that. I mean, it's heck. If I could learn it, I didn't even have a college education. If I could learn it, anybody can learn it. I mean, that is simple. But that right there, I'm not going to let you have that because I'm going to keep it. But if you look through that budget and just see how they kept the ledger in that thing, and what I could do at any time is I could pull that ledger up on whatever day I wanted, and I could get that ledger, and it'd tell me the money has been spent in my department, and in some other cases, some other. So that's just. That budget right there is, and also I was going to, this is, let me see that budget a second. I had another thing here. Now, this right here is, I just let you look at that if you want to look at it. You might. But this thing right here it'll kind of spell out stuff for you in here as to what should be and what shouldn't be. Let's see here.
I'm just curious, when you guys do the school budgets, do you do census data?
Say what?
Were you guys incorporating census data?
I have let me say this to you. I have no idea about that part of it.
I can answer that.
We're gonna be at 1,300, well, we're at 1,290 right now.
And what is that? I don't know what it
The
is.
population.
The what is?
The population of Gholson is 1,290.
1290?
Yeah, which is, yeah.
What does that have to do?
What kind of census data are you wanting?
No, I was just wondering, do you factor that in when you're calculating stuff out? Right, more people cost more.
What do you mean more people cost more? I mean,
I think what he's saying is like with school districts and stuff, we have to look at the student population and see if we have to make projections for the next school year.
Yeah.
And stuff, like for instance, if you have, and I know this because I deal with attendance all the time, you have like 718 kids. What are your projections for the next school year and the school year after that? Well, let's say you've got 2 housing divisions going up in the school district, and it's in there and stuff, and we've had studies done before to where they will go, okay, this house, you know, we're gonna look at 2.3 kids or 2.5 kids or whatever per household. And so they'll make projections on that based on, you know, what your attendance might possibly grow. You don't wanna project too much, I guess, because in a case like that, if we fall under those projections, then in our case, that's what ends up happening, is we get too much money, and then we may have to pay some of it back to the state and stuff, because we over-projected what we were looking at. So, for a school district, we try to stay under a safe number to a certain degree that's reasonable, if that makes any sense. And so you're wondering, I guess, you know, what about the projections of the population growing?
Yeah. Just factoring that in. Because we, yeah.
More houses, more roads.
Well, yeah, and prior to me, the previous two mayors didn't have a hazard mitigation crew, hazard mitigation plan, none of that stuff was done. They didn't even have an emergency contact. Like, so it's like there's things that we're supposed to do as a city. Like that's the one thing for the mayor, that's like my one power is to handle the emergencies.
I would think probably maybe 2 years at best. I don't know if I'd want to go 3.
Yeah.
Because that's too far out. But you could take, you know, last year's growth versus this year's, and be able to maybe make a sensible.
Yeah, and it is coming up. So the practical application to that is like we got the fire, the storm sirens. That probably we should have had 2 already. That there's probably one 4 or 5 years ago that that should have been done. It wasn't done.
I don't think that they thought about it too much.
Yeah.
And plus they're expensive, so I mean you have to take that into consideration.
Okay, discuss signing and filing conflict of interest. I have no problem with that. I just think it's good business to do that. I don't have a problem with how the rest of them feel. Well, none of us do, but just put it on record.
Well, I guess my question is, does everybody else, the other committees in the council sign at the same time? If everybody's not signing,
Well,
I don't see a reason to sign it.
In my opinion, that would be, I doubt if they have.
It wouldn't hurt.
Wouldn't hurt. I mean, what?
It's not gonna hurt anything. It comes off the Secretary of State's website.
You're just saying you don't have any.
Yeah.
What you?
I don't have a problem
Yeah.
signing it.
Like, and then Eddie brought up about Rick. Now he should have one on file, because anytime anything comes up about trees or anything, he shouldn't be discussing, be a part of that discussion, vote or anything. I know he hadn't voted, but he shouldn't even be a part of the discussion. I'm not trying to be ugly, I'm just saying that's what the law says.
Why would it be a conflict if he's not bidding the work?
Well, it could be a conflict. He may have a friend or something that he could. I mean, there's things in there that.
It'd be the same thing, Brian, if you were on the council and you got a business and stuff putting in, you know, culverts and things like that, like you do, and it'd be the same thing.
I'm bidding that work, Rick's not bidding.
Well, I know, but
Yeah.
if you were on the council, you wouldn't be doing
I think it's just a general disclosure.
No, but it's just,
I mean,
it's just,
It's just good policy.
I might not have a problem with it. I'm used to seeing that at the federal level. They always do disclosures.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone in here is doing anything with oil, so I think I'm
Okay.
good with that.
So okay, discuss the possible Open Meetings Act, Open Request Act clause presented to February meeting. Now, that's what David just called me about, because the agenda came out this morning, or today, for the planning and zoning to have their meeting, and that's 2 of the things y'all gonna do at your meeting, that y'all got on the 15th.
Oh, yeah,
Correct?
David added on the Open Meetings Act.
Oh, he's doing, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I had called him because I knew that we wouldn't have 3 business days to get because I thought it was on the 13th. I found out today, a while ago, from Sarah, that y'all changed it to the 15th, so we've got time, so we need to get, if y'all want to do that, we need to go through that, because there's some things in there that you really need to know about. It might explain why some other things are done. But take that training, and so need to find out if y'all want to come up here on the 15th. Y'all meet at
6:30.
6:30 on the 15th to go through that training, so that David doesn't have to come 2 times.
I can.
Be here when?
The 15th. Okay, so I just wanted to bring that up. He had told me the other day, because he and I were discussing some things. He said, well, it might be a good idea to have this Open Meetings Act and Open Request Act laws, you know, so you have some background. I've been through it 7 or 8 times, and I learn something new every time I sit through it and stuff. So, with that, y'all got anything else we need to discuss before we go to the actual items to be considered? Okay. All right. Under items to be considered, consider an act upon committee officers. And, yeah, we need to postpone it. Somebody needs to make a motion to postpone it.
Make a motion to postpone it.
Okay, all those in favor? And we haven't got anybody, so I get to vote. 2. Okay. Motion passes. Consider an act upon adoption of the template, proposed budget and proposed tax rate. Again, we need to postpone that to February meeting.
I'll make a motion to second.
Vivian makes a motion to postpone it to the February meeting, and second by Melissa. Okay, consider an act upon adoption of the recommended calendar for adoption of proposed budget, proposed tax rate, and tax rate hearing. And again, this was put on there, but
Can we just make one motion to table all the items until the next meeting when we?
well, we've got some we need to vote on here. Okay. So, you
I got
got
a basketball game I wanna see.
well, I got a football game I want to see too, but hey,
We gotta go.
we got responsibility and obligation, so that takes precedence for this ball game as far as I'm concerned. So, consider an act upon adoption of the I'll make a motion that we postpone it to the February meeting.
Second.
Vivian seconds. Okay, all those in favor? Okay, consider an act upon a meeting schedule. Okay, we had this, the planning and zoning has theirs on the second, you correct me if I'm wrong, second or third Tuesday. Second Tuesday, I guess, of each month.
Yeah.
And so I came to the last planning and zoning, so I told them, I said, I need to find out so we don't have conflicts in scheduling meetings. So is the second Thursday of each month fine with everybody? If it is, somebody needs to make that motion.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, Mr. Roberts makes a motion to have the second Thursday of each month as our meeting. And with the understanding we probably won't meet every month. I mean, we probably won't have another meeting until April or May and stuff.
Why
So.
wouldn't we have a meeting?
Well, we ain't got any, I mean,
Okay.
we can have a meeting every month if y'all want one, I don't care. But I'm just thinking there's not, unless we don't get done what we need to do in February, then we schedule another one in March or something to come back and finish up. I mean, that's, because you're not gonna start working on the budget stuff till May.
Till May.
May, probably. That should give us May, June, July to get through, whatever. And,
You don't wait till after election?
huh?
You don't wait till
Yeah,
after
we'll wait till after the election.
First of June.
Yeah. Well, May 4th is election. Or whatever corresponds to May 4th is election. So, yeah, it's on Monday. Well, it's, first Saturday?
Well, but the mayor's swearing in is not till the 4th. So
Well-
you won't have a mayor.
No, you gotta swear him in before then. you only got so many days to canvass votes, swear people in. Don't
Maybe
the
it's like
office becomes vacant.
7 days to canvass.
That's in the election law. I remember last year they had one right after the election to swear people in. So you've only got, X number of days, once that election's over with, to canvass the vote and, swear people in. And if you go, I think if you go past, 8 or 10 days, then that office becomes vacant.
Y'all want me to second, I'll second your second
Okay.
Thursday.
What, y'all still wanna do 6 p.m.?
Yeah, 6 p.m.
That's fine.
Excuse me, I didn't think to put that in there, or mention that. Okay, consider an act upon dissemination of information from the previous budget. I don't think there's any need, you've got that all in the packet, so.
Would that,
We need to vote,
Yeah.
whether it's unanimous or whatever on the,
We don't
Meeting
have the
schedule.
previous, do we have the previous budget?
Yeah. I've got a copy of this the budget they made out.
Let me see if it-
It's not in there, but,
on that meeting schedule, we need to go back and vote,
what,
because I seconded it, but we
okay,
didn't vote.
all those in favor? Okay, what I was, that wouldn't be, this was all this information in the budgets that was in this packet.
Yeah, but those
Well, and,
budgets really
Yeah,
aren't realistic.
yeah, but, we'll need to get a copy of this year's budget,
Yeah.
maybe last year's
Okay.
budget to look at and stuff, so I said we'll need to get a copy of all that. Okay. Consider an act on recommendation of amending the budget committee bylaws. We'll wait the office secretary and, allow, since we're a committee of less than 12, allow the chair, whoever the chair is, and,
I make a motion to make those corrections to that.
okay, we need to present a motion to the budget committee,
To the council.
or to the council. Let her read that.
Okay. By the direction of the budget committee, I move that we sponsor amendments to budget committee bylaws to remove the office of treasury. Rationale, budget committee has no need to purchase any items, and all requests for expenditures will need to be approved by the Gholson City Council, resulting in accounting of expenditures to be reflected in City of Gholson's fiscal budget, Article 4, Section A, and removes restriction of chair not being able to vote from Article 4, Section 2. Rationale, following Robert's Rules of Order as adopted by the Gholson City Council, which allows small committee chair to be a full participant and would be a violation of the person's First Amendment rights. Reference Robert's Rules of Order, RONR 12th edition, sections 49, 21, and 50-25.
You making that motion?
Yeah, I'm making that motion.
I'll second it. Cause I'll just be honest with you right up front, if that's not allowed, I will not accept, not that I won't be or anything, but I will not refuse it.
I'm for it.
Everybody in favor, vote?
How are you gonna break a tie?
Pardon?
you got another man coming on.
Yeah, you do.
How you gonna break a four if nothing's high?
Yeah,
What are you talking about?
what are you talking about?
Right now you have 4,
Right,
yeah.
But there's not one more.
If the other person doesn't get on, you're a four-way, if
Yeah,
all
then you're
vote,
good. If you have
you-
one more person, you're good, but how do you
if
get
you get
on?
one more person, you're okay.
Right.
But right
If
now,
they
you
fall
have
through.
no tiebreaker,
Right.
if you pass that.
Do we
Well, I
need, do
think-
we need a tiebreaker here on these?
No,
No,
not
I'm
this,
just throwing it
but
out.
in the future,
In other words, it's two, you know,
2 and 2 could be.
well, that's the reason we're waiting to elect officers.
right. If the other person comes
Yeah,
on,
yeah,
then
yeah.
what you're doing is,
Yeah.
would work.
Yeah,
But you're gonna, if he doesn't get put on or whatever,
yeah.
is where you're gonna have an issue.
Hopefully we'll work together.
I would
don't
think
think
that,
we're
I would
gonna-
think that you could get that other person on.
Yeah, well, he is a businessman, he ran, he was supposed to be here tonight, maybe something came up, he couldn't make it, but, he, ran 4 divisions for a big oil company. So he's very knowledgeable in stuff, and everything, so, and stuff, so, anyway.
And to be honest with you, I mean, in my opinion, you can agree to disagree, that's okay. But we need to at least do what is in the best interest and stuff as a whole. So, those are my thoughts about it. And I think we can.
Yeah, I was just thinking in terms of the time, and the only thing, we've had a bunch of people, it's been our experience that a lot of people say, oh, we're gonna show up for this, and they fall through, they constantly fall through, so.
I would hope there'd be some occasion that someone wouldn't agree with everybody else.
Well, you can still have a 3-1 vote,
Well, I know,
Yeah.
but
I mean,
I don't think anybody's ever gonna agree on everything.
and I'm sure we'll disagree on some things, but hopefully we're, adult enough to discuss it and
Move on.
work it out, move on.
I like your opinion.
Huh? Okay, discuss, citing and filing conflict of interest documents. Oh, I mean, I'm on the wrong
I
guy.
was gonna say, we already did that,
Yeah.
didn't we?
Well, we hadn't voted on it, we just talked about it. Consider and act upon signing and filing conflict of interest documents.
Do we have to have a motion for that?
Yeah. I mean, I'd like everybody to have their input on it. It's something that should,
I'll make a motion to do it.
Yeah, I'll second it.
okay, Melissa makes a motion, Vivian seconds it.
That way Vivian can go to her and watch it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's my basketball game is on.
Yeah.
Uh,
I have to call Dana and tell her.
anybody got any suggestions of what we need to do for the February 8th, February
Was that unanimous?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's unanimous.
February 12th meeting?
Do you need anything on that dissemination of information on the budget and audits? Do you need anything on that?
What do you mean?
Well,
Oh,
because
there
it's
was
an
no
act-
motion on it?
Yeah, there was
Yeah.
no motion or anything.
I mean, I don't, unless y'all just wanna make one to,
I don't know what we would do with it and stuff. I don't think we need anything.
probably not.
Okay, I said, anybody got any thoughts or ideas they want to maybe discuss at the next regular meeting?
I think we probably need to start kind of looking at like last year's budget and thinking about this upcoming one. And maybe trying to get together and stuff, what all things that y'all may need in that.
Let,
As far as, you know, what all we need in there, maybe things that might come up, like, you know, with the trees and the roads and the park and
The flood
everything.
grant and the park grant are gonna be the two big ones.
let me say this, and I mentioned this to Sarah here the other day. I plan on probably, let me see, January, probably coming up here, because it may take a while to do this. Coming up here, right on January 14th, which is a Wednesday, or, I mean, my schedule's pretty flexible, but come up here and start going through, the law requires that all receipts and disbursements be kept under separately and under proper headings. And basically what I'm saying is that every vendor that the city deals with, all those bills for the year should be in one folder. And then if you got, like for CTWP, all their bills should be in one folder, okay? Everything that we deal with electrical, Hillco should be in one folder, all those bills for the year. That way we won't be going through paper flying every which way when we start trying to look at, say, okay, what was spent last year on electricity?
Is there any possible way you can wait till February 1st to deplete the sugar on it?
what happens when you anything.
Well, we've got some stuff we're working on, and it's gonna come due before, like, we're on a really, really tight schedule.
Like,
Just the grants that we're working on.
So what is it you're gonna be doing though, Billy?
What I wanna do, what, the law requires this, okay? That you take every bill for every vendor, okay? Like the water company, the electrical company, CTWP, anybody you spend money with, okay? General Dollar, HEB.
Uh-huh.
Those receipts need to all, and the invoices, all need to be kept in a folder with a heading for each one of those vendors.
Okay.
All your receipts from HEB go in this folder. All your receipts go in this folder. Right now, I'm assuming or guessing that all those receipts and bills and invoices are in one folder by the month. And they're just, in there. So the law requires this, that you keep it. The law also requires you to, anybody that, like reimbursement on travel, there ought to be a folder set up for Sarah. Anybody that gets reimbursed for anything, there ought to be a separate folder with that person's name on it, meals, whatever. Okay?
But you should get pre-approval for that travel, right?
Yeah, well, if
And
they
if you
adopt
buy
what we.
food, you got to,
you gotta get per diem, so
you got to
much.
get per diem,
Sure.
but you've got to,
What
you
is
got
it?
to turn all that stuff.
Yeah, you gotta
over.
turn those receipts in.
It's, the way that Molly had it was by months,
It's 5 months.
yeah.
That's a law
I would,
for the city of Gholson, or that's a law for this budget committee?
No, that's a law for the city.
So what's the budget committee got to do with that?
Well, if we're gonna go through Vernon and look at, to figure out what was spent here and
That's
what.
irrelevant, it's all it's all recorded, it's all in the ledger.
It's,
In the actuals?
cause I'm not, what I'm saying, what you have here tells that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
What you showed us tonight, doesn't it show that? I'm just asking that question.
It's all in the
What are you
ledger.
talking about?
The expenditures.
aren't they all part of the?
But they're not divided out by vendors.
Okay, but that's,
The information is there, but it's not divided out by vendors. So.
the
it'd be a lot-
reason I'm asking this question, Billy, is that's more the city to do than your committee to do.
Well, we're gonna have to look at
Okay.
it.
No, I understand you
Let
need
me
the
just read
information.
Let me read
But
to
Why do
you.
we need to look at
But
past?
organizing them is what I'm asking.
No, not past budgets, I'm talking about all those tickets and receipts, why do you need to look at those?
Anybody should be able to look at that.
Anybody should be able to look at them, but why
Yeah.
do you need to
Kevin,
do that?
let me just read this to
Determine
you,
what some
okay?
of this stuff is going to.
Let me just read this to you.
Yeah,
okay?
go ahead.
There's a
Go
list
ahead.
of things in here.
Go ahead, Billy.
Okay. Under chapter 22, government and type A general municipality. Subchapter B, governing body. Section 22.073. Okay, under powers and duties of secretary. Now, I don't have all of them listed because there's a whole list of them, but
I'm with you.
I pulled out just the ones that would tell you what we're talking about, okay? Number 3, take charge of, arrange, and maintain the records of the governing body. That's, okay? Number 5, prepare all notices required under any regulation or ordinance of the municipality. E under that, 5E, the secretary serves as a general accountant of the municipality and shall keep regular accounts of the municipal receipts and disbursements. The secretary shall keep each cause of receipt and disbursement separately and under proper headings.
Okay.
The secretary shall also keep separate accounts with each person, including each officer, who has a monetary transaction with the municipality. The secretary shall credit accounts allowed by proper authority and shall specify the particular transaction to which each entry applies. The secretary shall keep records of accounts and other information covered by this subsection. And G under this is the secretary shall carefully keep all contracts made by the governing body. Okay? So this is in law. I'm not making up.
Nowhere in anything you read there said anything about budget committee. It said secretary.
You don't think we should have a budget committee?
No,
That's
No, that's not.
That's
I
not.
don't think that's the budget committee's
He's saying that's not
job.
your purview.
That's not what y'all are here for.
You're saying what do you think our job is here, Barnum?
You've got a general ledger that has all that information
Yes,
on
we
it.
do.
Well, why aren't we able to see it?
Why do you
Right
need to see
here.
it?
Why
It's right
should we-
here.
It's there.
Yeah, but Vivian,
But
do
it's
you
not
wanna go
broken
through
down.
there and pull all that out and write it on a sheet of paper? Do you wanna do that?
What am I gonna write on a sheet of paper?
So you've got it together, so when you start looking at this, you're not,
Well, let's go with, this says, tree removal. I guess it is for a tree, something. And everybody that a check was written to and it was charged to that account is right there. So if you want to see a specific one, you could request that one.
Well, it should be in the
Let's
ledger.
see. Well, that's what this is the ledger.
But it doesn't say what you're.
I don't think, it'd just be easier to have all that together where you
No,
can go
but it-
to
what
it.
it is,
I don't
what
want
it
to
is
look
a
at.
witch hunt. That's all it is.
Oh, get out of here, Byron.
Vernon, please.
Lynn,
Bullshit.
Lynn, let me tell you, y'all started this meeting out wrong.
Well, then why don't you get on
Hey.
anything, Berman, instead of sitting
Hey,
back
wait a
waiting to
minute.
talk about it?
Wait a minute. You're doing the same thing you did to him.
I'm listening
He
to
had the
you.
floor, 5 minutes. What did
Okay,
y'all do?
you got it.
No.
Well, we're not
I-
in 5 minutes of
Hey,
comment right now.
what I wanna see is if y'all are gonna do that 5 minutes, let the man talk.
He didn't do the 5 minutes, but I agree it should be
He
done,
couldn't-
Barnum.
He couldn't have done it.
Shit, he could too.
No, he couldn't do it.
He was interrupted.
He
Yeah, I was interrupted.
Continue.
I don't do that when I'm there.
Just-
I shut
just-
that shit down.
Just, if anybody wants to have comments, give them their 5 minutes. You don't have to say anything. You're not obligated to say
All
a
right,
word.
You know, you
let's
got
do
some really
that
nasty
here,
emails
and
to
let's
me.
do that in the meetings.
I think that's
Right, how I
Do it
shut
on
down.
anybody in the
That's
meetings,
what
in the council meetings.
Public comments in the council
Sorry.
meetings, the council does not respond.
I know.
You don't respond to anything?
Not in public comments.
You're not supposed, no, absolutely
So
not.
if I come up
Well,
here
unless
and
it's
y'all
on the
have.
agenda. If something's on the
Yeah.
agenda, you
Hey,
can
but you gotta
respond.
sign up for it.
No.
Yes. you
No,
gotta-
well,
you
there was
gotta
nothing
sign
that was
up
on
for
the
it.
agenda that I was discussing right
But
there.
all I'm saying is, these are broken down by category, by account. And so if you want to look at a specific one for, like, if there's an amount, or you're
Well,
questioning where one is
One
charged.
of the things you're gonna have problems with is office supplies, because you've got contracted services in there, and CTWP looks like they're charging $217 and some odd cents every single month for contracted services.
So basically, you're wanting some certain things broken down and done like what
You're not
she's
gonna-
saying.
It's
But
got
you
to.
can,
But-
again, you can look at office
What
supplies.
I'm
on
asking is
general ledger,
isn't that-
Yeah, but
and-
it's all grouped.
Well, I
together,
offered to
and
come
that's
up here and
the
do it because she's got other things to do.
But you can pull
Okay.
that.
And I understand what.
Now I see what you, now I understand what you're saying.
Okay, I understand what needs to be done. Okay,
So with all that.
so that's, I mean, I'm just donating my time
What's the difference in having a file folder?
to do it.
and
If
having
anybody
listed
that on the budget committee wants to come up here, and you wanna come up here.
If they've got
Yeah.
CTWP.
I mean, that's the only thing. She's got other things to do.
$1,000.
and I understand that, so-
$800 or whatever.
Yeah, they-
I don't know
yeah,
how much
yeah.
that $800
She does. She's got a lot.
Yeah, she's got a lot to do.
Listed out.
I really
Yes,
want
it
us to take
is.
some grants.
It
That's
says
my only thing. I'd rather be chasing money than
Sarah,
counting receipts.
If we can wait until February, you're not gonna do nothing until February either, right? Like you
No.
asked.
No.
Service.
I'll wait
That's
till,
what it
I can
is.
wait. We
I'm
can
not
I'm stupid.
Aren't you saying you wait until February, that would help?
Yeah, I don't want,
You want to-
no distraction.
Yeah.
We've got a
Because,
very
okay.
narrow window, like a very narrow window, and I
Just
still
why?
don't even know if we're gonna bring this in. But Lynn, I'm with you, but we're paying Patillo and Brown to count receipts, we're paying an auditor to count receipts, and we're gonna count receipts the third
We
time.
can look at this.
I don't think that's, like, I would not run my business that way.
Okay.
It's like, that's
A
why I'm an auditor.
whole school
So
district
you
runs
wanna
their
know something
business that
from
way.
other supplies, and you should.
Cities
pick
run
it
their
out.
school
You have
business
checks
Schools
and
that
aren't
way.
balances.
known for being the most.
I wanna know what
Okay.
Okay.
and other supplies.
Anybody wanna make
I
a
said,
joke?
school
You can
districts
look
don't
at
have the reputation
that
for
one,
being the most
and
effective
it's
with their
still by the
resources.
month, you can look
I
at
don't know
the
about
month.
school districts you've been involved with, the school districts I was involved with they was
That's
dead
not
serious
our
about this budget.
responsibility
Yeah.
As the budget committee, though.
Well, if I
That's-
wanna look at a receipt and I ask for it, I'd like to see it. And even as a
Well, I'm
public
not saying you
person,
wouldn't,
I would
I
like
didn't
to
say
see it.
anything about not seeing it, I
No.
said you can look at this. I don't think our job is to do the following.
Well, I was just trying to help her out, Vivian. Hey, I was just trying to help her out, okay? I mean, but
Maybe.
I've got,
I mean, I think
Real
we have the
practical
information in front of us without doing all of that, and then if we need to see something
Just having the whole,
specific. then we could look
It's
it up.
public documents, Vernon, take it, please.
Hey,
Make sure they wasn't supposed to
Vernon,
be
you
back
gave
here
me
next
my
meeting.
pamphlet back I gave you, didn't you?
I didn't ever have one of your pamphlets.
Oh, okay, that's all right.
Okay, have you,
Here.
Bill,
You gotta have a
you wanna
motion
sign
to-
this? This is
I don't think they ever
thing
done
that has to be-
Billy.
That to be put on the agenda.
You need to adjourn.
I am, I'm getting, I have a motion to adjourn.
No.
Vivian makes the motion, Melissa seconds it, all in
I
favor?
had another question that I was afraid to ask.
Well, go ahead and ask it, Vernon. Come on, go ahead and ask it, I'm listening.
I wanna know if this committee,
Mhm,
when the budget, whenever it's finalized,
mhm.
if it's within 25% of the revenue, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna raise taxes, or are you gonna tap the fund balance?
I don't know, that's up to you,
Kim.
you're the board.
Yeah.
We'll make a
I mean, all we're
recommendation.
doing is making some
We-
suggestions.
Okay, what is your